2,000 years ago, well actually it's 3,500 years ago, King David is thinking about this when he writes Psalms 29. Perhaps King David was sitting on the Golan Heights and he was looking across the modern country of Lebanon and he was observing the Mediterranean Ocean. Here we are in Beirut, the Mediterranean Ocean, so peaceful, so golden, at sunset time, and all is just wonderfully peaceful. What does King David see? He sees storm clouds beginning to arise in Psalm 29 across the Mediterranean Ocean. And as these storm clouds arise in Psalms 29, he observes them move up across the atmosphere and they come across the mountains of Lebanon. There they are going to strike the Mount Hermon, and as it does in rain clouds, it precipitates and it falls as rain. It's just the most wonderful thing. And so from the Mediterranean Ocean, from the country of Lebanon, storm clouds form, and you can't see any storm clouds here, but as they form, they're transferred across the country of Lebanon and they reach the magnificent Mount Hermon. It's a wonderful psalm and it's a wonderful story. I was in Beirut and there's my mate and we helped each other around, and he had a gamey leg. But as we strolled around the streets in the city of Beirut, it's just the most wonderful occasion. Imagine going snowboarding in the land of Israel. It just doesn't seem right. Skiing in the Holy Land. Mount Hermon, which is the mountain these storm clouds are carried to, is covered with snow at different times of the year. It's absolutely amazing. In fact, this mountain feeds 4 major rivers that supply fresh water to Israel, as well as other tributaries that supply Jordan and Syria and Lebanon as well. In fact, without this particular mountain supplying those 4 countries, there would be water wars, as if the cause for strife in the Middle East is not yet enough. Here we see a Druze village at the edge of Golan Israeli-held territory, just below that great Mount Hermon. And yes, there's an Israeli part where you can go snowboarding for Israelis on Mount Hermon. As the water travels down, it reaches this Barneus spring. That cave used to be considered the cave for Pan, the ancient fertility god. It's a beautiful spring surrounded by fresh green grass. As you can see, the water just tumbles forth fresh from the snow, and it's one of the 4 major streams that feed the Jordan River. The Jordan River in turn flows into the Lake Galilee. And so when David saw the great storm in Psalms 29, and he hears God's voice thunder 7 times through this storm, instead of being fearful of the storm and the lightning, King David thinks, wow, fresh water is falling on snow-tipped Mount Hermon. It's going to replenish the great Lake Galilee. From there the Jordan River will flow and the entire country of Israel will be refreshed. And it was indeed down further to the very end of the Jordan River that Jesus Christ came to be baptized 2,000 years ago. At this particular point, the water's a little bit muddy. It's not quite as fresh as what it was at the beginning. But the most amazing thing about this water is, although it's not so fresh at the end, it still is fresh water. It came from the country of Lebanon, the Mediterranean Sea, down across to Mount Hermon, and there the land of Israel, as a result of the storms, receives fresh water. I think that's what God's like today too.